Lisa, thank you for the introduction. We really appreciate the chance to be here. We've gotten great support from AWS and from our investors, and we're thrilled to be here. The company is called ThisLife, and what we're going to show you is, as Lisa said, a totally new approach for managing photos and videos. And what we have is a vertical cloud specifically designed for that kind of content. So typically these days, we're each taking about 1,500 photos a year. Anybody at 1,500 already, even though we're not at year end? 2,000? 2,500, okay. So we're building huge collections, and what we each have on average at this point is about 20,000 photos and 300 video clips just in our personal collections. And the question is, do we know where they all are? What we're seeing with our customers and what you may be seeing in your own life is that our photos and videos are totally scattered. We've got some on the web, and even on the web, they're scattered between photo sites and social services. We've got more on our phones. And then on top of that, we have more photos on what we're sort of affectionately calling our real cameras. And then we have the bulk of our collection sitting on our hard drives, probably in folders where we haven't seen them for a while. And for the families out there, not only are you scattered this way, but you're doubly scattered because probably each spouse has photos in each of those places. So we had the same problem in our own lives. And what we dreamed of was a solution. It was a magic box that would gather and organize all these photos for us. And that's exactly what we built with ThisLife. So ThisLife gathers all your photos and videos together for you into one place, lays everything out beautifully in this chronological order, and then does all the things you would do if you had time. So the first thing it does is it eliminates duplicates. And we have a pretty sophisticated approach to this. We'll show it to you in the demo. The next thing it does is it makes sure that it always preserves your true originals, even raw files. Then it helps you tag and find all the people in your photos, which will then let you search by people, and we're going to show that to you after. And it keeps everything private, so that you're always in control of sharing. And as one of the examples of sharing, we do these very beautiful stories, which are living albums. And then you get to decide if you want to share them with friends or family, and who you'd like to have as viewers, and who you'd like to have as contributors. Now, because we do it all in the cloud, in the AWS cloud, it's all mobile. So you can take your entire collection, 20,000, 30,000, whatever is your personal collection, with you wherever you go. And so we know that there are other clouds out there. There are other ways you can store your photos and videos. For example, you could store your photos and videos in the cloud with your documents and with your spreadsheets. And maybe there are people here today from some of those other cloud providers. If you're here and if you're listening, we want to say that we're big fans of your product and that we use you pretty extensively, especially for documents, for spreadsheets, PowerPoint presentations. But when it comes to photos and videos, they really are different. And what you have to ask yourself is, do you want your photo and video cloud to look like this? Or do you want it to look like this? And when you want to find one of your 20,000 photos, do you want to search like this? IMG _ whatever. Or do you want to search like this? I'm looking for Sarah. I'm looking for Sarah with Sawyer. I'm looking for them in a particular place. And we're going to show you how all of that works in the live demo. So AWS and ThisLife, the first vertical cloud specifically designed for photos and videos. And now we're going to jump right into the demo and show you live how the product works. All right, nothing like a live demo to entertain you guys during lunch. Joining me for the demo is Matt, and then together we're going to take you on the path to photo bliss. So as you look at the product, as you look at ThisLife, what you'll see is that all your photos and videos are laid out chronologically. On the left, you have your oldest memories, and as you scroll right, you move to your newest memories. Navigating through them is easy, and you're really scrolling through your own life. So this is a beautiful place for your photos, and you get these big, beautiful views of your photos. But it's also a great place for videos. Today we're capturing more and more videos, and it's hard, we don't necessarily get to see them. So this is a beautiful view for videos. It's okay, we're logged back in. See, that's what you get with a live demo. So it's also a beautiful place for videos. You can play them in line, see big screen views. Anyone feel sorry for the dog? Yeah, me too. Dog didn't like it at all. So what ThisLife does is it pulls all these things together for you. And then we're going to show you the next thing is how we do that. How do we gather all your photos and videos into one place? So the first thing we do is we gather all your social photos, everything that's scattered out there. So in this case, we're going to bring your photos in from Facebook. you can decide to select part or all of your Facebook photos. In this case, I'm going to import all my Facebook photos, and then I'm also going to toggle the auto import button so that anything new I add to Facebook is automatically pulled into ThisLife for me. I'm also an Instagram fan, so I'm going to do the same thing for Instagram, and I'm going to pull in my Instagram moments. And you can see you can go down the list and you can import your photos from all your different social services. The next place I'm going to bring my photos from is from my hard drive, which for most people holds the bulk of their collection. So ThisLife has desktop uploaders for both Mac and PC. In this case, we're going to use the Mac version. I'm going to read directly into iPhoto. We don't care how many iPhoto libraries you have or if we have to chase them down, we'll do that for you, no problem. And I'm going to import everything from my iPhoto library. And that's going to include any image modifications I've made, any face tags I've added, any album names I've created. All that work you've already done, we just leverage it and we bring it in for you. And by the way, when you imported from Facebook, we imported your face tags from there as well. And now I also use a real camera, so I'm going to pop in my SD card. ThisLife is going to recognize it. The same thing would have happened if I plugged in my phone, and I'm going to import all of those moments into one place. So now what's happening in the background, there's a whole workflow that's happening in the cloud. So ThisLife, there's images popping in. ThisLife is bringing photos from all those places and then doing a series of things that I don't have time to do. So one of the things that it's doing for me is it's eliminating duplicates. In today's world, duplicates are a real problem because when I imported from Facebook, what I got from Facebook was images that had been resized and dates that had been changed. So that's actually not the same file as the original picture, which may have come from my SD card or my hard drive. But at ThisLife, we'll recognize them not as different files, but as the same image, and we'll give you really the best of all worlds. We'll give you the highest quality image and the date that goes with the highest quality image, but then we'll give you all the social goodness from Facebook or from other social services. So we'll bring in the face tags, we'll bring in the comments, we'll bring in the likes, and we'll merge all those things together for you seamlessly for your entire collection of 10,000, 20,000 photos. Also, what we're doing in terms of the workflow in the background is laying everything out chronologically. We're making sure that your true originals are preserved, including raw files, and that everything is kept private. All of that is happening automatically. And then what we're going to do is we're going to offer you a bunch of really easy tools to add organization if you'd like to. So for me, I'm a parent. Do I have any other parents out there? Yeah. So I find myself often in a situation where I take 4 or 5 pretty similar images trying to get everybody to look at me and smile. So they're not duplicates, but they're similar. So what I want to do is stack them. I want to drag them and drop them on top of each other, clean up the timeline, and stack them together. Another of my favorite organizational tools is tagging. So you can go into a photo and you can tag in a traditional way. I'm sure you've all done this, where you can tag a face one off, and that works well in our system. But that's not a way where you would be encouraged to tag 10 or 20,000 faces. So instead, we built a bulk tagger. And here's what it looks like. We're going to suggest to you who the person is, and then we're going to give you, in this case, 179 faces that we think are that person. Now, we've spent also, especially for the parents in the audience, we have spent a huge amount of time refining facial recognition specifically for kids. Kids are by far the hardest test case for facial recognition because they change so much. And in this image, you can see that in the upper left, or in the upper right, you've got basically a baby, and then over here you've got a kid who's ready to go to kindergarten. That's a pretty big change in terms of how your face evolves. So what you can do, if all of these are correct, you can click the orange button and move forward. If there's one you're not sure of, you can hover the face, and we'll show you the whole photo that came from. Now this is kind of interesting. For us, this came out of user testing, and what we heard from dads especially, we didn't hear this from moms, what we heard from dads was that they were sometimes having trouble recognizing or telling apart their own kids when they were really young. So we call this the dad feature. You can hover a photo, we'll show you the whole thing. You can get a little more context. Was the kid wearing pink or blue? What else was happening in the image? And if that is the right person, great, leave it be. If it's not the right person, no problem, put an X over it really quickly, and then move on. So what you can see is that you can tag a lot of faces really quickly. So we tagged 50 faces, we'll tag faces really quickly, and we can move on to the next person. What we hear about, the feedback we get from our customers about facial recognition for us, is that it's actually fun. It moves from being a chore into being kind of a game. I have one customer who wrote an email in and said that she saved the facial recognition and did it with her kids because it was fun for them. But the advantage of doing this kind of tagging is that you can actually search. So this is no longer the world of IMG underscore whatever. This is the world of, I want to see just pictures of this one person, Jasper. I want to see her only in a certain place. And then from the collection of 1,000 moments that are up there, in a split second, I'm looking at the 17 that fit those criteria. So imagine that, for example, as many of you probably just did holiday photos. Imagine typing in exactly who you want to see and where you want to see them, and having all your images culled for you. Now in this case, I've got some pretty cool pictures, so I'm going to share them. And on ThisLife, we let you share in 3 different ways. The first thing you can do is you can pick a batch of images and share them on a one-off basis. I can share them by email in a beautiful gallery, or I can share them to Facebook. In this case, I'm going to send 4 to Facebook. We give you the preview of the grid. So sharing by batch is one option. The other way you can share, or a second way you can share, is you can create what we call a story, which is really a living album. So a story can contain photos and videos. You can, if you want, also add a certain amount of text to tell to sort of narrate the story. And then you get to decide who you want to share it with. And then of the people you share with, you can designate them as viewers or contributors. They get invited to a beautiful story. They see the images you've shared with them. And then as you add over time, they're automatically notified of the updates of new photos or videos that have been added. They get to see the new things, and they also get to see them in context of the whole story. Now, I said that we share in a third way, which we do. And the third way that we share is what we refer to as sharing a life. And what that means is that you're giving somebody full read-write access. They get access to everything in your account. So technically, you can do this with anybody. But in practice, what we're seeing with our customers and what we expected was that this is really happening between spouses. So what that means is you can connect to 2 Facebook accounts, 2 Instagram accounts, your PC and your spouse's Mac, 2 phones, and pull everything together into one central repository. And then you leverage the organization and the face tagging against that combined pool of images. What it also means is that we recognize you as 2 different people. So as you share to Facebook or as you send an email, you're sharing as yourself. You're not confused with your spouse. And when you add comments or things, you're commenting as yourself. So, yeah, so let's go back to the presentation. I'm going to wrap up with a couple of slides, and then we've got a nice giveaway for you. Going back to the presentation. Yes. So coming soon, we've got about 2 weeks until we can offer brand new apps for both phone and tablet. And what these allow you to do is take your entire collection with you, totally organized, including your stories, including search on your phone, which is what I was using when Lisa sort of introduced me, so that you could find exactly what you're looking for. Next. And to make all this magic work, we use, as I was saying, over a dozen AWS services. So this is really what the back end looks like for us. And from our perspective, it's really a thing of beauty. It allows us to do all kinds of things and provide great services. Keep going. Today, we're announcing something new. As far as we know, unless somebody tells me otherwise, we're the first ones to announce something with Glacier. As far as we know, we're new. So thanks to AWS, and specifically to Glacier, we're able to announce a brand new product. With a nod to Glacier, we're calling it Icebox. And what Icebox lets you do is it lets you store and then really beautifully view up to 25,000 photos or 100 gigs worth of photos and videos for only $3 a month. Now what you'll notice is that that is a very substantial discount relative to a lot of cloud providers out there. And that's really thanks to what we're able to do with Glacier. And if you would like the full array of all the sharing and searching services that you saw today, then you can get a super box. And we're on super box? Okay. Then you can have a super box. And the super box is $6 a month for every 100,000 for every 100 gigs or for every 25,000 photos. And to everybody in the audience, we're giving away a free super box for a year. We've got a booth, we've got cards on your seats, and then we've got more of them at our booth, which is right over there. For more about ThisLife, we're at thislife.com, and we're at that booth. Thanks so much for your time.